So hi there and welcome to Boxing Media Hub. Proudly in partnership with Falcon Contracting and Jam's Boxing Chat, and we're here for another live prediction show, this time of Diego Pacheco versus Steven Nelson. We've got two undefeated fighters on the line here. Got Diego Pacheco, who's 22-0-0. We've got Steven Nelson, who is 20-0-0. So this proves to be a good fight. It's for the USWBC and the IBO 168-pound super middleweight titles. I'm delighted to be joined by my good friend, Mr. Neutral. How are you today, my man?
I'm very well, thank you, James, and I hope you're well too, especially recovering from Saturday night.
I know, mate. That was a big one, weren't it, bro? That was a big one. We covered it, though. We got all 6 fights in. We done it.
We certainly
It was
did.
good, mate.
And a brilliant night too.
It was, matey. It was fantastic. And the right man won, in my opinion. But that's, again, that's for another show. This fight, though, is taking place on January the 25th from the Cosmopolitan Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, United States. I think it's a cracking fight. It's a good step up for Pacheco. Nelson, there's not as much known about him, you know what I mean? He's not as well known, although he's a good fighter. He's 36 years old now. Pacheco's just the age of 23. How do you see this one going, Mr. Neutral?
It's a strange fight, but on paper it looks like quite close, quite good. But for me, it's quite a strange fight. I mean, Steven Nelson had only started. He started in 2016, I think it was, and he'd only started fighting 8-rounders in 2019. And I think he's only had 4 or 5 10-rounders. So it's domestic level. US domestic level boxing for much of his career, but he seems to be a late developer, if you like. Some people get to a certain age to mature, and then just have an explosion of talent and a real good run, which he has. 16 knockouts from 20 fights, testament to his power. I actually watched him in March on the Terence Crawford. Yeah, I watched him in that Terence Crawford Madrimov, one of that marathon, event over 8 hours. He was one of them fights, and I remember saying at the time it was a really good stoppage. Very impressive.
Round 5 TKO.
That's
round
right.
5 knockout, weren't it? Sorry, round 5
exactly.
Knockout.
Very impressive, and I was wondering, what were they going to do with him next then? But to see him on this fight, in 2025, Pacheco being the younger guy, is far more active than Steven Nelson, and quite rightly so.
Mr. Neutral, do you think they're feeding him to the young lion?
It could be seen as that, but detractors will say, "But look, the guy's unbeaten. He's got considerable knockout power until he's tested." Even at the age of 36, you can never say he's been fed. But it's certainly an interesting fight to see how Pacheco comes up against power. I don't think he's seen that in his previous fights. If you look at Selecki, I remember watching. I was watching Pacheco in March of last year in Liverpool, and Jack Cullen, and he stopped him. So that was, but none of these fighters that he's fought have had a real knockout power. Factor in the deciding who wins. So it's going to be a test of his chin, no doubt.
Definitely, mate. I'm looking forward to it. He's also beat Sean McCalman, who was no easy beat for Diego Pacheco. I think the young Mexicano is going to go all the way, matey. I really do. I think he's a future talent. At 23 years old, this guy, the world is his oyster, as they say. He could go on to big things. And if he wants to be them big things, he has to walk through people like Steven Nelson at 36 years of age. So my prediction for this one, I'll keep it short and sweet. I think Pacheco takes a couple of rounds to work him out. And I think Pacheco, with his 18 knockouts, is going to be the power man in there. And I think his experience, even at such a young age, is going to tell. And I think he stops Nelson within 8 rounds.
Very good shout, James. Very good shout. I'm expecting something similar. Pacheco will take his time. He'll work his man out for a few rounds. And the same will go for, Steven Nelson. He won't rush into anything stupid. He'll try and do it as much as he can. But as the fight wears on, James, I'm seeing that power factor coming in for Diego Pacheco and his impressive stoppage. So I'm with you. Maybe around the 10th, could be a last round affair, but who
Fair
knows?
play.
But I still go
Thank you,
for it. I'll
Mr.
go with you.
Neutral. I like that prediction, mate. Hawkins ringside live all the way from Sweden. Big up yourself. He said, big up Jams and Mr. Neutral. And he said, Pacheco wins stoppage round 6. So very on the point from Hawkins. Thank you so much, mate. Well, it's a good fight, mate. It's a very good fight. Super middleweight division is wide open at the minute. We've seen what happens to people who don't take it seriously. Not going to mention any names, but they get found out by Frenchmen. But anyway, that pretty much wraps up this quick prediction on Boxing Media Hub. Thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Neutral. And we will be back in a moment for Andy Cruz against Omar Salcido. So join us then. And to everyone, please hit that subscribe button and we'll see you all very soon. God bless.